The world of cryptocurrency is shrouded in mystery and intrigue, and it's not just the digital tokens themselves that are shrouded in secrecy. The story of crypto-related deaths is just as mysterious and disconcerting. In this video, we'll be exploring the intangible world of wealth and exploring 10 cases where death has been linked to the world of cryptocurrency. We begin in Bali, Indonesia, where a mysterious death serves as our entry point into the story. In the tropical paradise of Bali, a chilling mystery unfolds. Two young lovers found dead in their hotel room under mysterious circumstances. The official verdict points to a murder self-termination, but the web of questions surrounding this case only grows more intricate. Was the culprit lurking in the shadows, or could the sinister world of cryptocurrency have played a hand in this tragedy? The case remains shrouded in uncertainty, with many pieces of the puzzle missing. The picturesque setting of Bali's Intercontinental Hotel and Resort only serves to heighten the tragedy of this case. Against the backdrop of a majestic hotel renowned for its stunning views and luxurious amenities, a grim discovery awaits. The date was May 1st, 2023, and two Chinese tourists' naked bodies were found within the resort. On May 17th, the local police held a press conference and announced the conclusion of their investigation, displaying the collected evidence to the media. They claimed that, after a thorough 16-day investigation and evidence collection, the case would be closed unless new evidence was found. With no evidence of a third party at the scene, the Indonesian police arrived at their verdict. According to their findings, the male tourist killed his girlfriend before inflicting mortal wounds upon himself using the broken shards of a beer bottle. The police hypothesis was that the male succumbed to fatal injuries as a result of his own actions, perhaps driven by guilt or despair over the woman's death. In China, where the couple hailed from, public response to the news was one of shock and bewilderment. The multitude of injuries on the male's body, over 20 wounds, including 2 at his back, seemed to contradict the theory that he had inflicted them on himself, fueling doubts and speculation about the official version of events. In a stunning twist, the mother of the deceased male shed new light on the events leading up to her son's death. She shared with reporters a chilling WeChat message from her son, sent just before his passing, which seemed to suggest that he was aware of a danger he was facing shortly before his death, saying, "Mom, don't listen to what others say about many things. They want to harm me." The mother also revealed that she had received threats from afar in the days leading up to her son's death, deepening the mystery and raising new questions about what truly transpired. The mother's fears were not allayed by time. Even after her son's passing, she lived in constant apprehension, convinced that the reporters interviewing her might be the very ones who had threatened her son's life. Such was the extent of her terror that she elected not to travel to Bali for the identification of her son's body, instead entrusting the task to a representative. The mother's tale added a haunting dimension to an already perplexing case. Further intrigue was injected into the puzzle when a friend of the deceased male found a cryptic WeChat message sent on April 30th at 7:10 p.m. The message, addressed to the female victim, contained a plea for her to see this clearly one day and care for his mother and their kittens. In the next sentence, the male named 3 individuals, A, B, and C, involved in the cryptocurrency world, characterizing them as too cruel. The new information paints a portrait of a complicated situation and points towards the possibility of foul play. 1. On the surface, the relationship between the couple appeared stable, with plans for marriage and the purchase of a new house indicating a committed and serious connection. 2. Given the couple's youth, attractiveness, and financial security, it seemed unlikely that either party would have reason to seek a new relationship or act out in jealousy, making the presence of a third-party instigator less plausible. 3. The potential for murder appears more probable, given the new information about the deceased man's alleged money laundering activities using cryptocurrency, which are illegal in China. The secrecy and illegality of such transactions provide a potential motive for the perpetrator, who could have been seeking revenge, attempting to steal the illicitly gained funds, or even silencing the deceased man to prevent him from reporting their activities to the authorities. The clandestine nature of cryptocurrency trading in China makes it all the more plausible that such a crime could be committed without fear of detection or prosecution. On the morning of May 1st, 2023, a guest staying in a room opposite the ill-fated couple's room made a chilling discovery. At 6:43 a.m., he heard unsettling moans and calls for help emanating from the hallway, prompting him to alert the hotel operator. The hotel staff, alerted to the disturbing situation, rushed to the floor where the couple was staying and arrived at approximately 6:50 a.m. To their horror, they discovered a blood-soaked nude man, unconscious, lying on the floor with a trail of blood leading back to his own room. The shock and disbelief that must have enveloped them at that moment was unimaginable. As the hotel staff cautiously entered the room, they discovered the lifeless body of the female victim in the bathtub. Alarmed by the grisly scene, the staff promptly contacted the police. When the ambulance arrived, the horrific reality was confirmed. Both the male and female victims had passed away. The woman, identified as Chung Jianan, was 22 years old when she died, a student with an unremarkable background and no known affiliations with any suspicious activity. Chung Jianan's social media presence revealed a partner who was extremely generous, frequently treating her to extravagant vacations and expensive gifts from exclusive brands. The couple's relationship appeared to be strong and loving, with her partner showering her with luxurious indulgences. This contradiction between their seemingly idyllic relationship and the mysterious circumstances surrounding their demise only deepens the mystery. The deceased man was identified as Li Qiming, 25 years old at the time of his untimely demise. According to his mother, Li was working in the financial sector, although his friends disclosed that his true work involved illegal cryptocurrency money laundering. Li had faced adversity since birth, born out of wedlock to a single mother who later remarried and had another son. Li struggled through a challenging childhood, eventually dropping out of high school and venturing into an uncertain future. Li's friends alleged that he had amassed a collection of high-end cars, some of which bore Southeast Asian license plates. Whether or not these extravagant vehicles were owned by Li, his social media presence revealed a pattern of frequent travel to Southeast Asia, a region known for its high incidence of illegal cryptocurrency trading and scams. This travel history and the nature of Li's alleged work raise red flags, pointing to a possible link between his death and the shadowy world of cryptocurrency-related crime. The fateful trip began on April 27, 2023, when the couple flew from China to Bali. They initially checked into Hotel A, but the very next day, Li reported his lost passport at the local police station. On April 29th, Chung switched to Hotel B, while Li remained unaccounted for. Finally, on April 30th, they checked into Hotel C, the Bali International Resort Hotel, where their lives would tragically end. On April 30th, Chung arrived at Hotel C at approximately 8 p.m., checking in without Li. Hours later, Li arrived alone in a taxi, waiting in the lobby until Chung met him and they entered the room together. At 0:50 a.m. on May 1st, they called for room service, requesting food and 6 bottles of beer. A hotel attendant delivered their order at 1:15 a.m., departing from the room 2 minutes later. The autopsy on Chung's body revealed no open wounds, but abrasions on her forehead, arms, and lower limbs, as well as bruises on her neck, suggesting that she had been strangled. Foam was seen flowing from her nostrils and mouth, indicating that she may have choked or suffocated. Additionally, a significant amount of liquid was discovered in her stomach, adding to the mystery surrounding her death. In contrast to Chung's injuries, Li was found to have over 20 open wounds, including 2 on his back. The fatal wound was a deep cut to his jugular vein, causing massive blood loss, despite the lack of any physical evidence indicating the presence of a third party in the room, and 31 witness statements. The Indonesian police came to the conclusion that the incident was a murder, followed by the male victim's self-termination. While frequent hotel changes might not be unusual for frequent travelers, Li's absence at Hotel B does leave room for speculation. It could be that his work commitments kept him away from the hotel, or perhaps the couple was experiencing some tension, necessitating a temporary separation to give each other space. Given Li's alleged involvement in illegal cryptocurrency trading, it's possible that the stress of such activity put a strain on their relationship. However, we can't rule out other factors that may have been at play, creating tension between the couple. The Indonesian police's report reveals that they found a bottle of red wine near the bathtub, suggesting that Chung was taking a spa bath when she was attacked. This finding adds an unusual twist to the story, as it implies that she was in a relaxed state and unlikely to have been expecting an attack. If her death was not the result of an argument with Li, then the possibility of a third party's involvement, possibly connected to Li's illegal cryptocurrency activities, becomes a more likely scenario. The intricate and deliberate nature of Li's wounds raise questions about the official explanation of his death. If he were indeed responsible for Chung's murder, the purpose of these complex wounds remains a mystery. The wounds lend credence to the possibility that Li was killed by a third party, with a connection to his illegal cryptocurrency activities, who then staged the scene to appear as though Lee died by his own hand. The scene continues to challenge the official explanation of Lee's death. His nakedness and location outside the room suggest the possibility of a struggle or altercation before the incident. Moreover, his alleged decision to crawl for almost 20 minutes after sustaining the fatal wound seems improbable for someone who had supposedly caused his own death. The many inconsistencies in the case, including Lee's decision to crawl out of the room rather than use the easily accessible hotel phone to call for help. After all, he had ordered food and beer just a few hours earlier, suggests that the true story behind Lee and Chung's deaths is more complicated than the official explanation. The behavior observed in this incident is incongruous with the scenario of a self-inflicted death and instead points to the possible involvement of a third party in the couple's demise. The Indonesian police have not yet provided clear answers to these queries, leading many to believe that they might have jumped to conclusions or neglected to fully investigate the possibility of a third party's involvement. The conspicuous absence of the couple's mobile phones at the press conference is particularly striking. The location and fate of these devices remain unknown, potentially stolen by a third party or even confiscated by the police themselves. The lack of information regarding the couple's mobile phones is highly concerning, as the data stored on these devices could have been crucial in piecing together the puzzle of their final moments. The data on these phones could have revealed their locations, movements, contacts, and potential connections to the crime, all of which are essential pieces of information that could help unravel the mystery of Lee and Chung's deaths. This leads to questions about the integrity of the investigation and whether external influences may have played a role in shaping the conclusion. While it is theoretically possible that Lee inflicted the wounds upon himself and subsequently attempted to seek help, this scenario seems unlikely given the overall pattern of the case and the absence of any evidence pointing to a clear motive. The lack of evidence to support this explanation leaves the official conclusion open to question. The death of Lee and Chung's apparent murder remains shrouded in mystery, and the absence of the couple's mobile phones further complicates the case. Given the fact that hotel rooms are typically frequented by various guests and not thoroughly cleaned after every checkout, the absence of fingerprints suggests that either the scene was cleaned before the crime or the police may have overlooked or intentionally ignored vital evidence. The absence of fingerprints on the surfaces of the room only serves to strengthen the possibility that a third party was involved and highlights the need for further investigation. There was an unconfirmed report that shortly after the police left the crime scene, the hotel allegedly sent housekeepers to clean the entire room, finishing the job by 10 a.m. in the morning. If true, this would be highly unusual and potentially concerning, as it could have destroyed crucial evidence and hindered the investigation. Based on CCTV footage, Lee was found at approximately 6:50 a.m., with the hotel staff likely calling the police shortly thereafter. Assuming the police would have taken at least 40 minutes to arrive, the reported cleaning of the crime scene by 10 a.m. seems implausible. If the cleaning indeed took place, then it would appear that the police were not still present when it occurred, which raises questions about how a murder investigation could have been completed in such a short amount of time. This would suggest that either the report of the cleaning is not accurate, or the police were not allowed to fully investigate the scene due to outside interference. Typically, a standard cleaning of a hotel room of around 300 square feet would take approximately 30 minutes, but that is under normal circumstances without any additional requirements, such as removing blood stains. Cleaning up a crime scene is an entirely different task that would likely take much longer than an hour, especially if the blood had spread outside of the room and into the corridor. But this discrepancy further adds to the doubts surrounding the hotel's reported actions in cleaning up the crime scene so quickly after the police departed. If the information about the housekeepers cleaning the room by 10 a.m. is accurate, then the local police and forensic team would have only had approximately 1.5 hours to conduct the entire crime scene investigation, including the collection of evidence and removal of the bodies. This incredibly short duration of time, if true, would make the Indonesian local police and forensic team the most efficient in the world by a wide margin. The only two people who could have fully understood the events leading to these tragic deaths were the couple themselves. Unless new, concrete evidence is uncovered, it seems unlikely that the Indonesian police will reopen their investigation. This presents a sad and frustrating reality for those seeking the truth behind the deaths of Lee and Chung. Without further action from the Indonesian authorities, the case may remain shrouded in mystery, leaving us with only questions and speculation. Whether Lee's alleged involvement in black market cryptocurrency activities played a role in his death remains a question mark, but it's not uncommon for the murky underworld of cryptocurrency to be linked to mysterious deaths and murders. In fact, there have been quite a few high-profile cases. Let's take a look at 10 of them. The first case is certainly intriguing. Starting off our list is Yevgeny Prigozhin, the Russian mercenary leader with a reported Bitcoin fortune valued at a staggering $2.6 billion. Prigozhin's death, which occurred after his private plane crashed near Moscow in August 2023, added to the mystery surrounding his involvement in the Ukraine-Russia conflict and his role as a major player in the Bitcoin market. Did his high-profile status make him a target for foul play, or was it simply a tragic accident? The second case is equally thought-provoking. Moving on to Mircea Popescu, the Romanian entrepreneur with an estimated Bitcoin fortune worth $1 billion. Popescu's death, resulting from drowning in June 2021, occurred just a few months before his 42nd birthday and while he was visiting Puerto Rico. His involvement with the crypto market and his considerable wealth could be considered potential motives, but did they play any role in his untimely demise? Or was his death simply a tragic accident? The mystery continues with case number 3. Next on our list is Tiantian Calander, a young entrepreneur who founded the Hong Kong-based Amber Group, a company specializing in electronic asset financial management. His sudden passing in November 2022, attributed to unknown causes while he slept, came as a shock to those in the crypto world. Despite being well known in the industry, Calander kept a relatively low profile, which makes pinpointing the cause of his death more difficult. Was it natural causes or something more nefarious? Adding to the list of curious deaths is case number 4. We now turn our attention to Vyacheslav Taran, the Russian crypto billionaire who passed away after a helicopter crash on his way to Morocco from France. Like many others on this list, his age and high net worth make him a potential target for foul play. But whether this was truly the case is still shrouded in mystery. The fifth case adds more complexity to the puzzle. Nikolai Mushegian's death in October 2022, discovered after his body was found washed up on a beach in Puerto Rico, was also attributed to drowning. However, the fact that he was a co-founder of a cryptocurrency lending platform and the cryptic message he posted on social media just before his death hint at potential deeper motives. Was he truly in fear of his life, or was it a case of paranoia? If the CIA was truly involved, what could their motive have been? The cases keep coming. In December 2022, Park Mo, one of the largest shareholders of a South Korean cryptocurrency trading platform, was found dead at his doorstep in the early hours of the morning. At the time of his death, Park Mo was 53 years old, a fairly young age for a natural passing. The circumstances surrounding his death are eerily similar to those of previous cases, bringing up questions of foul play and motive. Did someone have a vendetta against Park Mo or his position in the crypto industry? Another grim case. In April 2023, Bob Lee, the founder of a mobile payment platform that facilitated Bitcoin trading, was brutally stabbed to death in San Francisco. His death, coming at the relatively young age of 43, indicates a high level of violence that isn't typically associated with or natural causes. Considering the history of Bitcoin-related deaths and Lee's involvement in the industry, one has to wonder if his murder was related to his work, or if it was a targeted attack for some other reason. The eighth case brings us to John Forsyth, a virtual currency entrepreneur who was found shot to death after being reported missing for 9 days. Forsyth's death, occurring while he was running a virtual currency business at the age of 49, is another case where the circumstances seem to hint at foul play. The fact that he was reported missing for almost a week and a half before his body was found suggests that his death may have been intentional rather than a random act of violence. And we arrive at Fernando Perez Algaba, a chilling case of murder and dismemberment. Fernando Perez Algaba's death is perhaps the most gruesome and chilling case on this list, with his body found dismembered and placed in a suitcase in Argentina. The fact that he was a well-known crypto entrepreneur at the age of 41 makes his murder all the more disturbing. While the details of his death are gruesome, they could potentially offer valuable insight into the circumstances surrounding his passing. And finally, we arrive at the 10th and final case on our list. Christian Perv's death, like many of the others on this list, is shrouded in mystery. Discovered in a blocked sewage system in Bulgaria, his body appeared to have been beaten to death. As a virtual currency tycoon, Perv's wealth and position in the industry make him a potential target for violence or other nefarious acts. Sadly, in each of these 10 cases, we're left with more questions than answers. While it's possible that there may be some level of coordinated targeting of these individuals, it's also important to consider that many of them were high-profile figures in a relatively new and controversial industry. This could have made them more visible and attractive targets to opportunistic criminals. In addition, many of these individuals may not have had the same level of security and risk mitigation measures in place as traditional financial executives, which could have made them even more vulnerable to criminal attacks. While it's possible that intense stress and mental health issues may have led to self-harm, it's important to remember that each individual handles pressure differently. Some may turn to violence as a means of release, lashing out against those around them, while others might retreat inward and suffer in silence. It is critical to consider a myriad of factors when exploring these mysterious deaths. The lure of cryptocurrencies has proven to be a double-edged sword, as the wealth it promises can also lead to devastating consequences. So what's the verdict on the death list? Are cryptocurrencies a curse? Or is it simply human carelessness that's to blame? As for the saying, wealth should not be exposed, it serves as a haunting reminder that, while cryptocurrencies offer the potential for great wealth, they also present unique risks and dangers.